of the Countryside Alliance, Metcalf-Fisher. Mo, there's no easy way of putting this. This is turning into a nightmare on Downing Street for Keir Starmer.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's looking like a very bleak night for the governing party. Admittedly, there's a long way to go, but the early signs aren't good at all. And, you know, we'll be looking at those councils that returned, or those areas that returned Labour MPs at 2024. We've been warning the government since more or less the week it took office that it's really, really important to work with the countryside and to deliver for it. And so we're going to want to see what's happening to the vote there. But of course, we've also got a big night ahead, or a big day ahead, I should say. God, it's all blending into one. And well done to you, by the way, Martin. You're an absolute trooper. We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow in Wales and in Scotland. Now, obviously, in Wales, about a third of the population is rural, and so we're going to want to see what they've done. And we have worked as best we can with as many parties in this election to remind them that rural people feel ignored. They feel that no one's really listening to them, and it will be really fascinating to see what they do.
Well, Metcalf-Fisher, of course, one of the consistent trends, you've been on the show many times, was the Labour Party's the perception that they didn't care about the rural community. We saw that through the inheritance tax hike on farming. We've seen that through diesel duty, the lack of help from the government. In terms of the countryside vote, is there any way back for this Labour Party?
Well, if they want to get serious about it, they need to start delivering now. You know, right now, we have a situation, obviously, the massive fallout from the family farm tax, which caused devastation and continues to do that. But we've also got a government that seems fixated on the most bizarre things when it comes to their rural priorities. I mean, we're still banging on about a trail hunting ban. We've got game shooting under threat. We've got rural businesses like pubs and the hospitality sector that are really, really struggling. But it looks like there are some in the Labour Party that are still fixated on pursuing the toxic culture war. And we also would advise caution to Plaid Cymru in Wales as well. You know, they've lent heavily on trying to secure the rural vote, and we'll see how that plays out. But they've got to be really, really careful that they don't try and use the countryside as a means to gain green votes. You know, there'll be people that I know that we've spoken to who have voted Plaid perhaps for the first time because they really do believe that they can deliver in the countryside. But we saw in the last couple of weeks some strange things coming out from senior Plaid voices. Liz Saville-Roberts, their leader in Westminster, talking about wanting to ban jump racing. I mean, you know, that sort of stuff would be absolutely devastating for rural Wales. So we just need to make sure that all parties don't get into office and start using the countryside as a kicking ball.
Isn't the whole point here something we've heard consistently for years now? First of all, the working classes stopped voting for the Labour Party because they felt that the working classes weren't cared about, you know, by the Labour Party. And part of the problem with that is that you get these kind of wazzocks on their Brompton bikes, you know, going around London Zone 1, banging on about clean air. You know, great. But back in the real world, back in the countryside, it has no viability. You know, you need your car to get around. You need cheap fuel to get around. You rely upon it, particularly elderly people. You know, you rely on countryside pursuits as a part of the rural economy. There's a complete and utter disconnect between this modern city centre, Zone 1 metropolitan elite and the rest of the real world.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, we've constantly warned Labour about this. And, you know, there are understandably people within the Labour Parliamentary Party that are making a real go at trying to hold their base in their rural areas, and they're kind of ganging up together. But they really need to do that because Labour can't win without the countryside. It can't form a majority without them. And that means actually listening and engaging with people that might not necessarily understand the urban ways. And really, a lot of rural people, they just want their services delivered. They want to be able to have a thriving business. They need the government to get out the way. That's actually what they want. And so, you know, we need, if Labour want to hold the countryside, they need to start engaging with those rural representatives that they currently have, of which, Martin, remember, there are over about 100 of them. And that's why I want to see some of the results, like in Suffolk, for example, where they have rural MPs, but also Norfolk as well. It's going to be a really, really interesting night. And it is a warning to Labour that if it wants to hold the countryside and form a majority, it needs to deliver for it and not work against it.
Well, Metcalf-Fisher, thank you very much for staying up. Thank you for tuning in and being so erudite.